Hello, welcome to my garden. Today I thought I'd have a little chat with you about the difference between bulbs, tubers and rhizomes, because I know when you come to choosing what to put in your garden it can sometimes feel a little bit overwhelming of when to plant them, when they're going to flower and how to plant them. So I'm going to help clarify all that today, and they're quite amazing. Plants, all bulbs, tubers and rhizomes, are these incredible underground structures that hold on to all the energy and the nutrients of the plant, and always amazes me. So let's start with the bulbs. There are some bulbs that they also call corms, but just to keep things simple today, I'm going to call them all bulbs. And they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. But what they all have is what you call a basal plate at the base, where the roots come out. So it's like a little circular area. Sometimes you can see the roots a bit clearer, but it's always the flat part of the bulb is the basal plate where the roots come out, and then they have this pointy shoot at the top. So you're always planting them down with the flat part in the soil and the pointy shoot up, because this is where the foliage and the flowers all come out from. It's quite incredible. They're like, if you cut like an onion in half and you see all those layers, they're like all the folded leaves inside ready to come out. Not all bulbs look completely identical. Like these little crocuses are much smaller and more squat, but they still have that tiny little flat basal plate on the bottom and this tiny little shoot that will appear in the top. And you can then also get so many different types of narcissi, otherwise often known as daffodils, and you can get like multi-headed ones, but still when they have these two shoots you still have this circular flat basal plate on the base. So whether you're planting spring or summer flowering bulbs, whether you're planting them out in pots or in the ground, you want to give them a nice well-drained soil in a sunny position generally, and 3 times their depth. They like to be nice and deep. So it's 1 depth of the bulb, and then 2nd depth and 3rd, and then they'll flower their socks off for you. So all bulbs work in that sort of ebb and flow of rest and growth. That's just how they keep their energy going over the years. And they will actually, perennial ones will actually spread by creating little bulblets, like little small versions of the bulb on the edges, and they will then grow bigger, and it eventually will spread into bigger areas and naturalize, because many bulbs are absolutely beautiful naturalized over larger areas or under trees or that kind of thing. But not all bulbs are perennial, especially tulips are a little bit trickier. There are some varieties of tulips that are fantastic and do come back year on year, but a lot of them tend to weaken and not always come back each year. But the benefit of that is you can keep changing the colours that you're going to choose and the varieties, especially if you're putting them in pots. Then you can have new looks each year if you want them, which is always fun. So once these have finished flowering, you want to always make sure with bulbs that you leave the foliage on. You can deadhead the flowers off so they don't put any energy into making seed, but leave all the foliage on until it's completely died back down, because that puts all the energy and the nutrients back into this storage structure, ready for the next year, because most bulbs will be perennial. so they'll develop and grow and keep coming back year on year, especially daffodils, snowdrops, cyclamens, bluebells, so many. So that's bulbs. Now on to tubers. Tubers can be very strange looking. Like, I've just lifted this mini dahlia from my garden, and they can be like hanging sausages, especially on dahlias, they're always like this. And they're sort of fleshy material, like potatoes. If you were to chop them through, they're like the texture of a potato. And they develop and grow over the years by creating more sections and getting bigger that way. Dahlias can also be divided by taking them sort of in a section through the middle, but they always have to have the central part attached to them, called the crown. But so that's dahlias for you. You also have peonies and begonias also grow from tubers. They do look slightly different, but they all grow in the same way. Now, most tubers are not frost hardy, so they are planted out in the springtime after the last frost, so they're a bit more protected. And many, especially in the case of dahlias, will flower right through from summer right into autumn up until the first frosts, and will spoil you with flowers all summer long, so it's a real treat. So unlike bulbs that like to be planted deeply, tubers don't like to be planted deep. So you literally want to just put them just underneath the surface of the soil, so that the sun can get to them and really warm them up, because they enjoy that. It's the same with peonies as well, that you really want to plant them right near the surface of the soil, otherwise they're unlikely to flower so well. And if you do that, nice well-drained soil again, and lots of lovely sunshine, and they will treat you with lots of flowers. So that's bulbs and tubers done. Now onto rhizomes. They're also often called rootstocks and sold as bare root perennials. And classic examples are irises and agapanthus, but there are so many others, including this little hardy geranium that I've been growing on in a pot. This grows from rhizomes. They grow horizontally, and they're like these little sort of fleshy sections, and they have nodes where the roots come from the base, and then these shoots come from the top of them, and they develop over the years out horizontally. So you want to allow enough space in your garden for them to mature and grow. Now, rhizomes can generally be planted year-round outside of the frost seasons, so from spring into autumn. And the same as with tubers, they don't like to be planted deeply, so plant them with about 5 centimetres soil above them, so not very much at all. As you can see here, this is where they came out of the pot, and the tuber and the rhizomes are here. They look rather like tubers, so it can get confusing, so I do hope that this has helped clarify the difference between bulbs, tubers and rhizomes. Of course, as always, do ask me any questions in the comments. I'm always happy to help, and thanks for watching. Do subscribe if you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you in my garden again very soon. Bye.